Hello everybody, welcome to Feature Friday. We'll get started here in about 3 more minutes, and we have a lot of fun stuff planned for this evening. Once you get logged in, just go ahead and hit that like button, and I will be watching the chat window. Feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation, and we'll get started here once again in 2 more minutes. Okay. Woohoo. Okay. Let's see here. Just looking over what I'm going over tonight. We are starting a brand new series this evening, and I'm going to be focusing on the sergers, my serger right now, and what I'm doing, we're starting the first of a Serger Quilting series. So, what? Serger Quilting? Yes, we can use our sergers to piece and do all that fun stuff and to embellish our quilts as we're piecing them. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Alexis. Well, everybody, I just got back last Sunday from Fort Collins, Colorado. I was at the Fig Leaf and we did a Bernina Serger event, and it was a very successful event. Oh my gosh, it snowed the whole time I was there for 4 days. I got there on Thursday, a week ago yesterday, and it was raining and snowing mixed, and it was snowing the whole time I was there. The temperatures were up, so the roads weren't horrible. But it was really beautiful. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful in a beautiful spring snow in Colorado on the Front Range. It was lovely. Hi, Stephanie. Happy Friday. And, I used to live there in Fort Collins, and I'll tell you, I'd forgotten all about one of my favorite trees in Fort Collins in the springtime, and that's the lovely cottonwood trees. They were blooming. And that's something I happen to be allergic to. So I had, excuse me, I had to actually go stock up on Benadryl while I was there. Let's see here. Tell me how to do the juggle. Oh, Alexis, thank you so much. You're an angel. And yeah, we all learn as we go through our machines, and there's always something new to learn. And right here is my new machine. I've just had it since November. It is the Bernina L890 serger. And let me tell you something, everybody that's watched me over the last number of years, I was always with Baby Lock, and I will tell you, I got so burned out. On December 1st of 2023, I left Baby Lock because I needed a change. I was creatively burned out, and you know what? This has reinvigorated my creativity. I love this machine. And they're all good machines, but I will tell you, this is my favorite serger that I've ever owned. I can say that in all honesty. It's my favorite. They're all great. They all have their own special features and functions and all that fun stuff. But I just have to say, I love sewing on this serger. I love it. Excuse me. Hi, Ernestine. Good evening. So glad that you're here. Let me get me some more coffee here. Everybody, I brought home hay fever, and then I got sick on Monday. Today's the first day I've been out of bed for a whole day. Mike is still sick. He caught it from me. Yeah, he's thanking me for it every time I go upstairs. Trust me. Oh. Oh, Alexis, I know. That Quilter's Edition L890 is awesome. And you get so many goodies with it. It's just, if I hadn't already bought the regular L890, I would totally have gotten that one. I'm envious of you on that. Hi, Janelle. So good to see you too. Oh my goodness. It has been raining here all day long. It's been a rainy Friday here in Henry, Illinois. Hoo-wee. So, oh, well, Alexis, that's a wonderful machine as well. It's off camera, but I have a 790 Pro. I have I have a Cafe 475 Quilters Edition. That's sewing only. And then I just purchased, when I was down at Flash in March, is it March? Yes, in March, the Bernina 79 Yaya Han Edition sewing and embroidery machine. That's going to be that's my new travel machine. Love them all. So awesome. Alexis, you're going to love the Serger. Oh my gosh. I love mine. I truly do. And what I'm going to be making, you see on the wall here and behind me, I am strip piecing what I used to call back in the 80s a trip around the world, or the Amish call it a sunshine and shadow. But this new version, I bought this quilt kit at Flash Sew and Quilt in Naples, Florida. And it's called the Decoupage Trip Quilt. This is what it will finish. When it's finished, this is what it looks like. And the fabric line is from a fabric line called In the Beginning, and the line is Decoupage. Now, if you would like to have one of these kits, now this is not a paid advertisement, everybody. I bought this quilt kit specifically to do on camera. All you have to do is contact Flash Sew and Quilt in Naples, Florida. The title is Decoupage Trip Quilt, and they can hook you up with a quilt and or instructions, a pattern. Okay? So awesome. So awesome. You're going to see it put together on my Bernina L890, everybody. Oh, wonderful, Alexis. I still have most of my baby lock equipment, but I'm getting ready to sell most of mine just to make room for all the new equipment. Not that there's anything wrong with them, of course. Hi, Karen. Oh, Karen, I know. You know that I will tell you on the Triumph, even though it has air threading for the needle, that is something I hardly used. And I can honestly thread the needles quicker without it than with it. But that's something that's totally up to an individual person. Okay. Hi, Christina. Hi, Chris. Okay, everybody. So once again, this is based on cut 3.5-inch squares of fabric, everybody. So I'm strip piecing it. I cut the fabric into 3.5-inch strips. I've got to sew 5 units. I've already done one. 5 units together. I have to have 5 of these, so I got 4 more to go. And then I'm going to cut them across the seams 3.5 inches, so I already have my strips of squares already sewn together. And here is the actual piecing diagram. This will kind of let you know why it's called a trip around the world, and that's what I call this. It's a trip around the world. Excuse me. We're actually the very center square of the quilt. You build out from that, and you go around the square and have changing colors. And back in the 80s, I made these in postage stamp size for a quilt designer I worked for in Louisville. But there's the layout. And you can see, you start in the center and you work your way out. However, in strip piecing, there's strips that you do to lay your way out. Here's another view of that, the layout diagram. And I'm going to tell you, the border fabric, this picture I'm holding up does not do justice for the border fabric, okay? I saw the real quilt hanging at Flash in Naples. It was to die for gorgeous. So I've got all my strips cut, and there's plenty of fabric in the kit for that. I was very happy about that. So what I've got to do now, I have to piece. Now I'm going to get this down off of my design wall so I can hold it up to the camera so you can get a better look for it. Okay. Let's see here. And there are 12 strips of fabric in this unit. Okay. Let me put these straight pins where I won't step on them. Oh my goodness. So check it out. I'm going to swap a camera. I'm going to swap my camera. Let's go to this one here. Move my coffee cup over. I think you can get a good look at some of these fabrics. This is going to be gorgeous. Look at this. So right here is the very center. This color right here is, okay? So this will be working out from the center. Yeah, let me widen this camera angle up. Hi Georgia, you're not late. You're fine, darling. Okay, that's better. And you can see all my mess in the background. You can see my 790 right over there. Okay. But these are the fabrics in the quilt top for all the piecing right here. Over here is the center. You can see I have all these strips. So it's going from the center out to the edge. Look at all those beautiful fabrics. Aren't they pretty? The fabrics in this make me think of my grandma Dalton. She loved, I could actually see her house dresses. She used to have house dresses made out of this beautiful chintzy type of fabric, and this is all 100% cotton. It's beautiful hand and texture to it. It's soft, it is gorgeous, and I can't even tell you which one of these fabrics are my favorite, but I'm really drawn to these little blue flowers right here. Aren't they pretty? As well as these, I think these are irises. Well, they almost look like orchids, but I don't think they are. They could be. I don't know. Aren't they? Isn't it beautiful though? Beautiful fabric. Once again, www.flashsewandquilt.com, or just call their shop. Tell them Richard sent you. Trust me, they know me. And they will hook you up with one of these quilt kits if they still have any, if you would happen to want one. But anyway, got 4 more of these to piece tonight. And I'm going to show you how I've got it. Oh, and look at the seams. I got it set up for a 1/4 inch seam. Beautiful 1/4 inch seams. Hold on. There we go. I'm using a light gray thread. I'm going to show you how to achieve a 1/4 inch seam on this machine. There's many ways to do it, and I'm going to show you many ways, but right now I'm going to do it this way. Let me swap to my another camera. Okay, so what I've got selected, let me go to this screen right here. Okay, get it so it's still here. Okay, so what I've got, this is stitch number 4, 3-thread overlock narrow right needle. Now, almost all sergers will do that. Standard settings, tension settings 4 across the board, 2.5 millimeter stitch length. The differential is at neutral. And this, what I love about this Any special settings I do, I can save it to this machine, up to 100 special stitches that I've adjusted, and it will save it. So what I've typed in right here, a 1/4 inch seam, cutting width at 8.5 millimeters. And by just barely letting the fabric kiss the cutting blade, I get a perfect 1/4 inch seam. And what that means is this, everybody. So that's all it is. For instance, let me go back here, one, overlock, number 4, and there it is. Right there is the actual settings. Except for this, I did 8.5, but I used just the regular settings for everything else. And right there it is without that's not my saved copy. But what I did, I just put in the details to remind me to set the cutting blade to 8.5 millimeters. And that's what that is. So if I wanted to save that, I just have to touch the little heart there and look. 1/4 inch seam, cutting width at 8.5. Anytime I want to pull that back up, I just have to touch that. It tells me my settings to set it to, and then there it is. Now that was in expert mode. If I wanted to go back, and if I wanted to pull up that number 4 again, and I wanted step-by-step guided mode to thread, check it out. I touch this, and it will take me step by step by step to set up the machine for that. It remembered what I previously had threaded, so there's no unthreading required. It tells me which presser foot, attach presser foot C11. If I didn't know how to do that, all I would have to do is touch the little video camera, and it has a built-in guided tutorial for every step of the way to set this machine up for the desired stitch you want to create. And that's pretty awesome. You don't have to look it up in a book or on a folded piece, a folded cardboard threading guide. Everything is built into the machine. There it's saying insert needles in the position, right needle is selected. Of course, there's a video on that too. Check it out. It shows you how to do it all. It's so awesome. Next step, activate knife, adjust cutting width, attach knife cover insert, and there's a video for every single one. Everywhere there's a little camera icon, there's a video to show you how to achieve that. And now we're ready to stitch. I'm just going to go to the heart, and I'm going to pull the one that I saved up, and I'm ready to go. I've already got everything threaded right here. And what I did, I've got my seam guide. This is an adjustable seam guide on this machine. I have it set so it's even with the blade, so I can use this to line up my fabric before it goes under the foot. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. And that's all there is to it, everybody. And it's a straightforward threading setup. Needles, they go up here to the color codes. Oh, you can see my open closet. Straightforward setting of your threads. On this machine, for instance, if you're going to do a flat lock, on other machines you might have to put 2 threads into one thread path. Not on this machine. Straightforward threading. Once it's threaded, you don't have to change your thread paths, everybody. That's just the way this machine works. And that's something I really like about it. I will tell you that all the default settings for tension are extremely accurate. Rarely have I had to adjust tension settings on this. The only time I really have had to do that is instead of using serger thread, I'm putting a heavy 12 or 8 weight thread into the loopers, and I might have to tweak the tension just a little bit, but it's super easy to do. Okay. Woohoo. So next, let's see here. Let me go back to another camera. We're getting ready to sew, everybody. Ooh-wee. There we go. Okay. So here's my four sets of strips for my other four units I have to make. Okay. So my goal tonight is to get these pieced. And the next episode, then in the next episode, I will have these cut before the next episode, and we'll actually start piecing the quilt top. Woohoo! Okay, so there's that. I'm going to set my papers out of the way. Must have made me another sip of coffee before I get going. My throat is still really scratchy from whatever rhinovirus we've had. It's the only way I know to call it. Okay. And the important thing to do is when you're strip piecing, the parts you leave in, you want to keep the tops nice and even. That way it's nice and straight and all that fun stuff. I'm going to zoom in a little closer on this camera. There we go. Back it out some. This is a little Canon Handycam, which is really handy. Hence Handycam, right? There we go. There we go. Okay. Now then, but I think I'm going to start with, I got that camera set. Let me go back here to this one. And let me get this set up for us. And through the process, oh my gosh, if you have a question, please ask. Excuse me, that's why I'm here. This comes with this serger, is the thread bin, which I was really happy about as well. Didn't think I would really missed one all that much until I had one back again. But another thing I really dig about this one, check this out everybody. My most used tools are right here in that door. Brush, needle threader for the needles, tweezers, needles, and this right here, these are foam pads to stick needles into. If you have 3 needles inserted and you only need one, well, you have a place to store them. So easy, super easy to get to. Okay. Okay, so we are ready to go. Christina, the throat space here is 5.5 inches. It's a large throat space, just like the other machines that I was used to. It also has a flat table, just like the other machine did. You know, this is the overlock insert. And there's also the cover stitch insert, which has a flatter table to it. One thing that's really cool, this comes with it. Check it out. It has an extension table. This extension table comes with it. Let me bring my camera over so you can see here. Right there. And it just slides in. This also has a free arm. Check it out. Has a free arm, which I was very happy about. I do like to make clothes, and I can really use that when I do hems. Okay. That's all there is to it. Nice, very nice extension table. Comes with the machine. I am using the knee lift on the Bernina. It's called the F8, the freehand system. But it's a knee lift is what it is, and all of their machines, including the Sergers, have the freehand system. So what I've done here, I've just right sides together. Check it out. And this is the C27 clear foot, which I love this. Notice, I'm going to raise that. I just put the fabric in so it just barely touches the blade. I'm going to lower my foot, and then I can adjust my seam guide just so that just barely touches the edge of the fabric right there. Makes it super easy to do. Let's sew this seam, And then we'll measure it. We're going to measure it and just see how accurate it is. Here we go. Now I do have the speed turned down to 800 stitches per minute. And I like that speed. It gives you gives you really great control over your fabric feeding. You know, if you're going super fast, that's all well and good, but I like to have a little bit more control over the speed of the fabric moving through the machine. There we go. I'm just going to chain off a little bit and leave about a 1 to 2 inch tail. There we go. Now let's check it out. Let me bring my camera over closer and we'll just measure. Excuse me. This seam. So right there, that dark line right there is 1/2 inch. That's right on top of that needle thread, and the edge of the fabric is right at that 1/4 inch mark. That is a perfect 1/4 inch seam, everybody. Let me see if I can get the camera closer. Let it focus. Focus. Pull it up a little bit. There we go. Right there it is. Perfect 1/4 inch seam. So that is 1/2 inch. That's 3/4 of an inch. Perfect 1/4 inch seam, everybody. This little tool comes with the serger. It's called the chain hook. We'll get into that more, but this is how you lock. Oops, where are we at here? Get on that camera there, you. There we go. This little fork here, this is one way to lock a chain cover stitch on this machine. I really like it. It's got a little ruler on the end of it. This is in inches. Over here is in centimeters. Super useful little tool. That comes with the machine, of course. Now then, just readjust my camera angle here. Perfect. So now I'm just going to bring this forward, and I'm going to keep adding to the right. So there's fabric 1, fabric 2. This fabric gets repeated right here in the number 3 slot, and from there here on out, there's just a different fabric each time. Okay. And as you can see, I'm just barely trimming just little hairy threads off of my fabric. I'm not really cutting the fabric. Hi, Jody. Good to see you. I hope you're doing okay. Okay, let's get this one started. I'll take a few stitches. And another thing I love about this serger, everyone, is this. Notice it stopped. Let me line up my edges right here. I'm going to show you something. I have my screen set here for it to stop and needle down, or I can touch it and it will stop in the needle up position. Okay, check it out. I'm going to sew. I'm going to stop, and it stops with the needle in the down position. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how happy that makes me inside. This is a feature I've always wanted on serger, was needle up and needle down. You all know I'm a quilter, and I like to piece on my serger. And boy howdy, the needle down makes a world of difference to me. Check it out. Check out this beautiful fabric. I just love the fabric on this. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Remember, this is the center of the quilt. Right here is the very center of the quilt. Okay. I've been wanting to piece another trip around the world for a long time, and when I saw this quilt kit at Flash, I knew I had to have it. I just knew I did. I've been wanting to make these again for quite some time, and you know, this is just reinvigorated. This brings back in the 80s, everybody. I used to make 3 of these quilt tops a week for that quilt designer in Louisville. They were all postage stamp size, which meant they finished at 1 inch by 1 inch, the squares did. They were queen size quilt tops, and each quilt top had over 10,000 squares of fabric in it. I made 3 of those a week, and I strip pieced them. And there's 4 out of 11 out of 12 set on it. Each set of strips has 12 strips on it. And you know, when I get this unit done, half of my strip sets, well, almost half will be completely finished. Oh, Marion. Hi, Marion. I love everybody. Marion is my neighbor. She lives here in Henry, and she's such a nice lady. Marion, I love piecing on my serger. It's my favorite way to piece. I never have to wind a bobbin. And those that know me know I don't like winding bobbins. Okay? I just don't like to wind bobbins. I will if I have to. That's not my favorite thing to do. I'd rather be sewing. This fabric right here has some beautiful irises in it, and these beautiful hummingbirds. It's really pretty. I mean, if you can find something with hummingbirds in it, no, you cannot go wrong with that. I've been taking NyQuil and Dayquil for almost 4 days now. I've begun weaning myself off of it today since I've been feeling a little bit better. But oh my gosh, it's hard. Okay. Let's get another one done here. This is, I think those are rhododendrons. Look at those. Aren't they pretty? I'm pretty sure those are, I just put on pretty roses, that floral fabric. The next one are rhododendrons. Yes. I think. I guess I could look at my chart and let me just tell you, hold on. Let me look at my chart here. Back that up a little bit. There we go. Salmon rhododendron. We just did red roses. Now this is called salmon rhododendron. And that is pretty, those are kind of salmon colored, salmon rhododendron. Yes, Bernina hired me on as part of their overlocker serger team. That is my official title. I'm an educator for Bernina now. And love this machine. That's what I was doing in Colorado last weekend. And it was almost like a homecoming for me, everybody. I'll have to tell you. Two of my students from one of my students was there from 2013. She'd taken one of my first serger classes I'd ever taught in Colorado. And she actually brought her Halloween table runner with her into class for show and tell on day 2. It was so awesome. Hi, Jeannie. If you're watching, Jeannie, thank you so much. It was so good to see you again. But say if you're ever in Fort Collins, oh my gosh, the Fig Leaf Quilt Shop. They have beautiful fabric and beautiful machines, and oh my gosh, tons of thread and patterns and embroidery. Just a wonderful, wonderful shop there in Fort Collins, Colorado. I am home. Let's see, I will be gone May the 7th through the 10th. I'm going to Bernina for training on new machines. And then the following week, I will be up in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin at the Nancy Zeman Sewing Studio teaching a serger class for their annual event. Then after that, I'm home for a few weeks, everybody. So I've got I'm getting my energy back. And I've got lots of stuff planned for my time here in the studio. After that, the next thing is actually planned for travel is the middle of June for Bernina University in Detroit. But I flew out on American Airlines. It went Peoria to Chicago, direct into Denver from there. Same path back. I'm just driving. My house is only 88 miles from Bernina headquarters. So for my training on May 7th through the 10th, I'm just driving up. It's only an hour and a half or so north. Fairly close. Oh, yes. So what then? There was the rhododendron. Yeah, they are beautiful, Alexis. There's the beautiful salmon rhododendrons. This one was called yellow sunflowers. Aren't those pretty? Yellow sunflowers. There we go. Okay. Next, I really like this. Oh, I love them all. Check this one out. This is the next strip. Right there. This is called green lily pads. And I will tell you, we have some in our pond. We have flowering water lilies in this exact, the white ones here. We have these in our koi pond. They come up water lilies. They bloom they're beautiful when they're in bloom. Beautiful. You know, before COVID, the airport I fly out of had Delta and United and American Airlines. They also have Allegiant. And for whatever reason, after COVID, Delta stopped servicing my little airport. That's the airline I really like to fly on. My second choice is American. So basically, right now, I have my choice of American or United Airlines to fly out. And I'm about 2.5 hour drive up to O'Hare from where I live. And yeah, I could drive up there and catch a plane. But I will tell you, by paying for parking on top of that, it doesn't come out. It's a little more money to fly out of Peoria. However, Peoria International Airport has free parking, so I don't have to pay for any parking, and that really kind of negates the difference in the airline ticket right there. So, thank you, Alexis. Oh, the next flower, almost forgot. Let's look at this. Here it is, these pretty little blue flowers. These are called blue flowers. They kind of look like, I don't know, forget-me-nots maybe. Let's get another one on. We'll have this quilt top finished up here in a few days. Excuse me. Let's see here. Here we go. I'm going to see a new doctor a week from today. I'm actually going to see an endocrinologist to manage my diabetes. I'm doing good, everybody, but it was just time. I felt it was time for me to see an actual endocrinologist to really make sure everything stays on track. Actually changing up my entire healthcare team, to be perfectly honest. We'll not get into details, but I just was not happy with the current team. And that's all that needs to be said. Alrighty. Moving right along. Cynthia, I'm using a three-thread overlock narrow with the right needle. That's what I'm using. So as you can see, look back here and behind, I just have 3 cones of thread. That's Mettler's Ceracore Serger thread. It's my new favorite thread. Had never used it before, but boy howdy. Yeah, I won't use anything else now. I have a lot of Madeira right now in my stash, and I also have some oh, phooey, what's that one? It is what is it called? The fabric we're using, let me not get off track here. This is called Purple Iris. Aren't those beautiful? Purple Iris. Oops. But let me get that under there and get it started. Then we'll talk. There we go. Everybody, I'm letting the machine pull I am not pulling or pushing the fabric at all. I'm not pulling back on my fabric. Let me move this. You don't want to do this when you're feeding fabric on a serger or a sewing machine. Is pull back on it to keep it super taut, because that's all fabric has a little bit of a stretch. All your job is to do, excuse me, is to line up the raw edges and let the machine pull it through. I'm not putting any tension on this fabric whatsoever. My only job is to line up the raw edges and make sure those edges are butted up against my seam guide as they go under the foot. That is my goal in life tonight. I tell you, when I go teach a workshop, I really get the bug to sew, because I'm watching everybody having fun sewing and everything, and I want to do it too. So much fun. Hi, Lisa. I love Oregon. It's beautiful out there. And there are many times. Goodness, Puffy. You okay, Booger? Huh? What you doing, Shoogie Boogie? Puffin's on his little couch watching me sew and chit-chat with y'all. Next fabric is this one. This is called Lavender Daisies. Aren't those pretty? Lavender Daisies. As you can see, I'm just matching the ends, as I've done all through here. Just going to line up those edges. And let the machine do all the work. It really does help in piecing when you can stop, when your machine will stop and needle down, everybody. You know, if you're piecing on the sewing machine, I bet you have it stop and needle down, right? Oh, I had to get me a drink of my coffee. Well, just like on a sewing machine, if you have a serger that will do it, it's just as beneficial. This foot I'm using, which is on this machine, is the C27 clear foot. It's just the same as the C11, which comes with this machine, but it's a metal one that comes with it. I like the clear plastic, simply because, especially with piecing, you can see exactly where the edge of your fabric is underneath that presser foot. I mean, check this out here, everybody. Look at that. You can see exactly. There's my blade, my fabric's right up against it. You can see your fabric move right under the foot. For me, that's extremely important when you're piecing on a serger. Do you have to have it? No, you don't. It just helps. You know that saying, every little bit helps? Well, that's one of the little bits that helps. really don't care about the tails on what I'm doing right now, everyone, because it's all going to get trimmed off anyway. So it doesn't really matter, to be perfectly honest. Okay, here's the last strip for this unit. Ooh, what do you think that's called? This is called Pink Lilacs, everybody. Pink Lilac. Woohoo. And just like piecing on a sewing machine, when I piece on a serger, I like to use gray, usually unless it's black fabric or really dark fabric, I'm going to use a medium colored gray thread. And the only time I would use a white thread is if I'm actually piecing white fabric together so it blends in better. And just the same as on a dark fabric, you don't want to use a light thread because you don't want it to show through the fabric or anything like that. But for 99% of the time, gray thread works perfectly. Now you might be wondering, well, what kind of thread is serger thread? Serger thread is a polyester thread. Can you use Aurifil? Let's say you like to piece with Aurifil. Can you use Aurifil thread? Of course you can. You can use any kind of thread you want to in a serger. Whether it's 50 weight Aurifil or 40 weight King Tut or whatever thread you like to piece with, you can totally use in a serger. That being said, if I was going to use Aurifil, what I would do, I would use Aurifil in the needle and serger thread in the loopers. Because the needle, if you open up the seam, check this out everybody. If you open up this seam and you can see a thread, it's going to be the needle thread you see, not the looper threads. Okay? Now doing this, I can barely see that gray needle thread, but it blends into this fabric perfectly. Okay, no different than on a sewing machine. So there's a unit done. I already had one done, so that's 2 out of 5 units completed. Let's go to a different camera now. Let's see here. Let's go here. And we'll back it up, back out. Oops, wrong way. There we go. So there's 2 of these done. 2 of 5 are pieced now. Now when it comes time, once I get all of these done, my next step will be this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to sew these 2 ends together like this and make a tube. Then I will have a tube like this, and then I will cut 3.5 inches. After I get this tube made. See that? Okay, and I'll explain that in episode 2, why I'm doing that. But just to give you an idea of where we're going, that's where I'm going with that. I have 3 more of these to make now. Excuse me. Let me get this one folded up and set to the side. Then we'll do another one. Here's my first one. No, Marion, this is going to be a trip around the world. Check it out. Let's see here. There's the finished quilt top right there. This is a quilt kit I purchased out of Naples, Florida in March while I was going out on the road. It's called the Decoupage Trip Quilt. And the border, this is a big solid piece of fabric for the border here. It's really beautiful. It has butterflies and little birds in it. It's really pretty fabric. Okay. Let me set that over there. I'll grab another stack of strips. Okay. After this one, there's the next one right there. Then I have 2 more to go. Okay. Let me get me a drink of coffee. Oh, Cynthia, I saw this quilt hanging on the wall in that quilt shop. Then I saw all the kits and I thought, dang, they would have kits for it. Fell in love with the quilt. I had to have it. The picture does not do justice to what that quilt looked like, let me tell you. You know, you see a quilt hanging at a quilt show or in a shop, and you think, gosh, I have to have that quilt. Well, that's what it was. I had to have it. It's all good. Oh my goodness. Okay, everybody, I am going to go. I have to go to the kitchen and get some Dayquil, and I will be right back. Okay, hold on here. Let me go to a different camera. There we go. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm coming back, everyone. Yuck. I don't like taking that stuff. Sometimes you have to. Okay, here were we. Okay, here we go. Starting on unit number 3 out of 5. Oh, Cynthia, the shop is Flash Sew and Quilt in Naples, Florida. If you call them or go on their website, you can probably, they might still have some of these kits left. If not, they might be able to cut some more. But just tell them Richard sent you. They know who I am. I've been down there many, many times. And that's actually who I bought this serger from. This Flash Sew and Quilt in Naples, Florida. They also have a beautiful, they've opened a second store in Sarasota also, Flash Sew and Quilt Sarasota. And moving right along here, I'm going to try to power through. I'm going to power through it. I'm going to get all of these pieced tonight, everybody. I might be on here for another hour, hour and a half, something like that. We'll see how long it takes. I'm going to get all of these units pieced so I can get prepped for tomorrow, for the next episode. Now, what this fabric here is called, I did not tell you this one before, but this fabric right here is called, look at my chart, Garden Toil. Yes, Garden Toil. The toil would be the black and white part, okay? That's called Garden Toil. This fabric right here that's all black and white is just called Black Toil, okay? I will tell the name of each one of these fabrics. These fabrics are from In the Beginning. It's the name of the fabric line. And the set is called Decoupage. I did not press the fold creases out of this fabric simply because there's going to be a lot of pressing anyway, so I did not really need to do that. And I said earlier, I do have my machine speed turned down to 800 stitches per minute. It will go 1,350 stitches per minute if I were to set it up to that and wanted to, but I don't. This is called Multicolor All Over Floral. It also has these cute little birds in it. Look at that cute bird right there. Isn't that cute? The people at Flash are so awesome. Bridget and Mike, they own the store. And they really like to keep their customers, they go above and beyond customer service wise to keep their customers happy. Just open that up as I bring it back down. Prep for the next run. And now we're up to the fabric called Red Roses. Right there. Have y'all ever seen the movie, this is an older movie, Fried Green Tomatoes by any chance? I love that movie. So it's really got a great story to it. But the reason I bring that up, and these roses just reminded me of it. One of the characters, when she gets older, is in a nursing home or rest home, and she has her rose garden, her paper rose garden covering the walls in her room. And they remind me of this This is what this fabric here reminds me of. It was the fabric that Ninny had in her room. if you like to watch movies and you would like to have a good movie to watch, I highly recommend that. It's not dirty or vulgar or anything like that. It's just really got a great story to it. It's got Kathy Bates in it and Jessica Tandy and oh my goodness. Set back in the 1930s. Love. And I tell you, I love real fried green. I grew up on fried green tomatoes. I love fried green tomatoes. Here are the salmon rhododendrons. Wonderful, Cynthia and Christina. It's such a good movie. Sad, but some sad parts to it, but it's a good story. Moving right along here. Oh my goodness, Cynthia. I've never had green tomato pie. I bet it kind of tastes like rhubarb. For some reason, that's what comes to my mind. My mother used to make rhubarb pies. Okay, here's the pretty yellow sunflowers. Okay. Oh my. I guess you could call me kind of all-American, Cynthia. I love apple pie. That's my favorite. I really like Dutch apple pie, to be perfectly honest. When it comes to pies, pecan pie is a close second, but I try not to eat too much of that because it has so much sugar in it. And honestly, I do like pumpkin pie also. I I used to love coconut cream pie when I was young, but after my grandmother passed away, I never had really great coconut cream pie after that, so I gave up on that. Sometimes I will make apple strudel. Okay, that was the green lily pads. Then, let's see here. Next are the blue flowers. Oh, I know, I tell you, where I live, I went to high school in Morton, Illinois, which is about 45 miles from where I currently live. And Morton is surrounded by fields of pumpkins because there's a Libby. If you've ever bought canned pumpkin that says Libby on it, more than likely it came from my hometown of Morton, Illinois. That's where I graduated from high school. Every fall we'd have a pumpkin festival and a pumpkin queen. I'm extremely serious there. But when the machines would go out and pick all the pumpkins in the field, they never picked it clean, and the farmers would let you go out there and get out of the fields with the big machines and mist. And boy, howdy, when you buy certain types of pumpkins are made for cooking, and boy, howdy, the flavor profile is totally, completely different than just a regular jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. This quilt with all these beautiful florals, it's kind of the concept of doing a watercolor quilt as well. And what I mean by that, with the floral patterns next to each other, they'll kind of blend out like a watercolor will. It's really pretty. Next we have the purple irises. Yes, it is Marion. It is the capital of pumpkins. It's really cool to see them bring in the big trailer loads, semi-trailer loads of pumpkins from the fields, and they dump them into the factory. They just raise the whole semi-rig up on this big platform like the dump bed on a dump truck, and the whole thing just goes up in the air to unload it right into the factory conveyor belts. It's pretty awesome to watch. Oh yes, Cynthia. I have made a watercolor quilt before. And what it is, you get big prints. And this is kind of, once you see this laid up, you'll kind of get what I'm talking about. But for the next episode, I'll pull out one of my samples of what I call a watercolor quilt. And you'll get the idea of it. This is the purple daisies, lavender daisies. It's the next fabric. I have a couple examples of what I call a watercolor quilt. It can be any color, quite honestly, but the fabrics you add when they're next to each other, they kind of blend together like a watercolor does. And I love using that technique for backgrounds. My Hoffman quilt that traveled with the Hoffman Fabric Company has an element of watercolor prints in it. Maybe I'll just get out my watercolor samples and just do an episode on that. And one more strip and this unit will be complete. Woohoo! Moving right along here, everyone. Great question. Hi, Mark. So good to see you. Hey, yes. So here's the thing: when you're strip piecing and it gets curved, I know exactly what you're talking about. Here's the thing with that. What you have to do to prevent a curve, you've always got to start at the same end. You can't start at this end on one and then go down to the other end on the second one. They all have to be the same. Also, when these strips are being cut, it's very important, and I can't stress this enough, that the cuts are square and true down the entire length of the strip, because if they're off just angled a little bit, that's what's going to cause that curve 90% of the time. If you find that happens a lot, you can cut the edge with the fabric strips in half, and that will help eliminate those curves. Also, what could be happening too is as you're piecing, you're pulling back on that fabric and it gives it an unnatural stretch, which can cause those strips to curve. I am not pulling back at all. All I'm doing, watch, I'm lining up that edge and letting the machine pull it through. I am not pulling back and putting any type of tension on this fabric whatsoever. The machine is same with a sewing machine. You cannot have any tension on your fabric as the machine is feeding it in. That can cause it to have that curve that you're talking about as well. When I first, many years ago, when I first started strip piecing, I did have that happen to me as well. And that is what a very famous quilter in Paducah, international quilter in Paducah, told me that. It's all about the tension you put on fabric as it's feeding through a machine. That and the cutting. Because see, if that didn't line up right here on the end, you might, let's say it was like this. It was a 1/4 inch off. You might think, well, I'm just going to line up those two edges and pull it so that they line up. Well, that puts a natural tension on a seam and it can cause it to curve. Because, excuse me, hold on, let me get some coffee. Many times when you're strip piecing, your strips may not come from the same line or manufacturer on those fabrics, and that would mean that not all the strips would be the same length. So if you have a habit of trying to line up the edges at the end, you always line them up in the beginning. When you get down to the end, you might think you need to have those line up too as well, and that's not always the case. Okay, so that unit is done there. Let's come over here to our other camera. Going to do another one. Okay, hi everybody. Hello there. Okay, so there's another one. Woohoo! Moving right along. And here's my ending piece, and check it out. Check it out. That is not. It's not even, and it usually will not be even on the one end. Where you start each time, that should always be even. Where it comes out at the bottom end, don't worry about it. It's going to get trimmed off anyway. The same with these selvages up here. That's all going to get trimmed off. The first cut, when we make the cut, it'll trim all the selvages off. Okay. Let's get this one folded up. But yes, great question, Mark. And yes, I have had that happen to me. Okay. Woohoo. Let's get this one done. Just got 2 more of these sets of strips to sew together. That's for the entire quilt top, everybody. Okay. Well, Cynthia, I think I answered that. It was Flash Sew and Quilt in Naples, Florida. We'll just put that in hold on a minute here. I'm going to type that into our chat window. Flash. I think that's the name of I think that's their web address right there. And it's Flash Sew and Quilt in Naples, Florida. Oops. If I can spell Florida right. I should. That's where I was born. Florida. Yeah, I think that's right. There we go. I had to think how to spell Florida, everybody. I don't want to hear it. Get out my birth certificate and look at it, right? Okay. Oh, no worries, Cynthia. Okay. Now then, let's get this one here sewn, and we'll get this another step done. But isn't it, the fabric is just, I don't know what attracted me the most, the actual fact that it was a trip around the world or the fabric. Love them both. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Let me swap back to my other camera. Ooh, there we go. And we'll get started. Okay. Okay, here we go. these 5 units, everybody, I will save one of the 5 units to cut on camera. The others I'm going to have pre-cut before our next episode. And then that way you can see the process of actually cutting, making a tube and then cutting it and all that kind of stuff. Now just think how many strips I've sewn together already, everyone. And guess what? I haven't had to change or wind a bobbin. Woohoo! Isn't that exciting? I find that exciting. I'm sorry, I'm such a geek. Oh my gosh. So much fun. Listen, everybody, Flash Sew and Quilt, they always have tons of Kaif and Tula fabric, among others. If you are looking for hard to find fabric, that is a place to check. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Cynthia. You're very welcome. Actually planned on doing one of my episode or a series on trip around the world, which is what this basically is. And boy howdy, this quilt kit sure made up my mind for me on that. Excuse me. Christina, I will be on more now. I will be on more often through the week than from what I have been. That is for sure. Yeah, the answer is yes. What you doing, Bobo? You don't need to be in there. Come on. You don't need to go into the bathroom, puppy. Oh my goodness. I know he doesn't need to go outside because I took him out right before we went live. But Christina, yes, I will be on through the week. I will be on in the middle of the day sometimes as well, everybody. It will not always be at night. I'm just getting everything organized so I can get everything scheduled. Because amidst all my lives and travel, I also have tons of samples to make for my classes as well. Get this straightened up here. I've already started getting bookings for the fall. On the yellow sunflowers right now, everybody. No, Cynthia, they had several. And they could always cut more. That's a lot. They have a lot of fabric. Also picked up a beautiful quilt kit at the AQS Quilt Show in Daytona Beach. And it's a wool applique when everybody. We'll be getting to that here at some point. Doing really good here. Okay. See, once you now I've been really focusing on running this. It's okay, Chris. Keep your eyes open. We'll be doing another one of these either tomorrow or Sunday. I'm not sure yet which one. Maybe even both. We'll see. Let's see how I feel in the morning. But it's wonderful to chat with you, Chris. I'll talk to you later. Hugs, hugs. But Yeah, right now I am low. I'm low on quilt tops. I've got to get some quilt tops made, everybody. I mean, I've got several made, but it's way lower than what I normally have on hand. Okay. Two more strips and this unit will be done. Then we'll have one left to go, everybody. Woo. Wonderful, Cynthia. Thank you. One more. One more. One more and this unit will be done. Yeehaw. Isn't that right, Puffin? My little dog is just staring at me. My little bubby. My little Puffy. I'm messing with him, everyone. He's just looking at me like I'm crazy. Yes, Puffin, your daddy's crazy. He knows I like to sew. number 4 out of 5 is complete. We have one more unit to go, everyone. One more unit to go. Let me swap my camera here. There we go. Woohoo! Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Woohoo! Yeah, baby. Alrighty. Last unit right here. Last unit. There we go. Okay. Give me a drink of my coffee. Okay. Yes, Cynthia, the instructions are very, very clear. Let me show you those real quick here. This is included with all the fabric and all that fun stuff. So there's what the finished project looks like. It even has fabric for the binding, the wide border, the border fabric. Okay, so there's that. That page is blank in behind. Then here it tells you how to cut all the fabric. There's your layout right there. That's what I'm following right now. This is how I'm laying out all my fabric strips. And then down here it shows how to make a tube out of it. Okay, that'll be this is what we'll be doing on the next episode here tonight. I'm just going down to this part right here. Okay, and then more diagrams and instructions, piecing, setting diagrams. I mean, it's full instructions. There's no guesswork involved. There's actually a chart of all the different fabrics that are used. Here's the border print. Look at the border. Isn't that pretty? This fabric here is for the binding. Right there. Okay. So, we're on page number 2 right now. Nope, we're still on page 1. Okay, so I have one more unit like this right here to make. One more unit. And that's what we're going to get started on. Okay. Let's see, that camera there. And I tell you, if you've never used your knee lift on whichever serger you have, if your serger has one, or your sewing machine, but if you just ever get used to using it, you'll never want to do without it. It's really handy. It really makes, once you get used to it, it's just like second nature using your knee to raise that presser foot. Like I said, I have this machine set almost at half speed. I'm just going to put it back up to its original full speed for just a moment, and you'll see the difference here. Ready? But I find that when you do that, you can lose some of your control. And I'd much rather go a little bit slower and be more accurate than have it to be too super speedy. There we go. Okay. I also find when I'm doing this strip piecing, if I'll open it up as I pull it down in front of me. It just makes it easier for the next step, okay? You do not need to press it each step of the way, because once you make it into a tube, you're going to press the whole thing anyway. So that's really not, if you want to press each step, you can totally do that. That's entirely up to you. But in the instructions, it doesn't call for that. And sometimes I think we overpress stuff. Fabric can be overpressed also. Now, if you're trying, and the thing is, since these are going to be basically squares that we're going to sew together, it's not going to be that easy to press all the seams in a certain direction for the method that we're using. You can just nest the seams as you feed it through the machine itself. And we'll see what I mean by that later. Well, Janelle, the kit, hold on, let me see, what size does this make? It was fairly large. This will make, let me see here. Finished quilt size is 88 by 94 inches. The finished squares, this right here that we're piecing, are 3 by 3 inch squares. But the finished size, and that would include the border, is 88 by 94. If you bought this kit and you wanted it larger than that, you could add another border onto it to get it up to that size, to whatever size you wanted. But no, the answer to that question, Janelle, the pattern's only in one size, the kit is. The easy way to alter that would be to add another border. If you order the kit, just order 3 yards of one of the fabrics you want to make the larger border out of. Carol? Carol, I have an email. I thought it had went out, but when I checked my email, it had bounced back to me, so I have to send out your email to you again. Carol, I have been sick all week since I got back from Colorado. I started getting out of bed yesterday, and I've stayed out of bed all day today. But I caught some kind of a bug, some kind of a virus when I was out in Colorado on my trip. I brought Colorado home to Mike, and he got to play with that bug also. So it was a cold is what it was. We've both been sick with a cold virus. And I checked to make sure it wasn't the you-know-what thing. It was not COVID. I did took COVID test to make sure it wasn't that. And all that fun stuff. It's just the plain old cold. Okay. was the red roses fabric that went onto it. Carol, I am working on the Decoupage Trip Quilt Kit that I purchased when I saw you down at Flash in Naples. That's what I'm working on right now. Hope you're doing well. Carol, I saw pictures of your new baby today on Facebook. It was the first day I even had Facebook up and running at all since I've been sick. She's so pretty, your baby is, Carol. Woo-hoo. Then this is the yellow sunflowers. Thank you, Carol. You're awesome. I just had to take a break, Carol, and take me a big old shot glass full of Dayquil. And next is the green lily pads. Here we go, green lily pads, water lilies. I have these type of water lilies in our koi pond here. Thank you, Cynthia. I'm feeling much better than I did. I tell you there for months, really got sick Monday afternoon. I got home on Sunday. By Monday night, I was in bed and I was there for almost 3 days. But I'm doing much better now. This is my first full day of being out of bed. And the thing was, the way it affected me, I had severe spells of nonstop coughing. So luckily I had already had night quilt and day quilt at the house, and that helped me. And then Mike made a big pot of lentil soup, and I ate lentil soup for 2 days. That's what I ate. A really not a thick lentil. It was regular lentil soup, and then I added a lot of water to it, so it was real brothy, and that really helped. And yet early yesterday, he came down with it. So I brought the Colorado funk home, and he got to play with it also. Okay, and this is the Purple Irises fabric. Hey, puppy. My little puffin's getting restless, everybody. We're almost done with this unit. We got 2 more strips to sew on. Woohoo! And then I'm going to show on tonight's episode, once I finish this, I'm going to turn this unit into a tube, which is what I'll do to all the other units before they are cross-cut. And then we'll pick up at the right spot on our next episode. Alrighty. Got one more strip to add to the. Oh my gosh, we'll have all the strip units made. Yay. This is the pink lilacs. Yes. Pink lilacs. Well, hello. Hi, Picola. How are you this evening? Welcome. Good to have you. So everybody, once I get this strip sewn on, this will be 5 units that I have pieced today. And that is all of the units I will need for this quilt top that I'm working on. But let me get this sewn down, and then I'll take time to explain what my next step is. As you can see, I'm just trimming off just threads and hairs. I'm not really trimming off any fabric as I'm trimming. And that's what it means. We're just to barely kiss or touch the blade as you're piecing. You're not trimming fabric, just the loose threads on the edges of the fabric. Let me go over to my other camera. There we go. Okay. Now then. So where we're at, what I just finished was step 1 under quilt top assembly. So using a strip panel made in step 1, bring the top and bottom of the panel together so the pink lilac and the garden twill strips meet right sides together. Stitch a 1/4 inch seam to form a tube. Repeat the step on the remaining 4 strip panels to make a total of 5 strip panel tubes. Hence this unit right here. So here's what this means in a nutshell. I'm going to do it to this one. The others I will do off camera. So I'm going to take this unit that I just pieced. I'm going to bring it together, right sides together. Okay. And then I'm going to seam it right here. That way, once it's seamed, it makes a tube. And then I'll show you on the next episode what I'm going to do with this. Okay, so let's get that seamed. Let me go back to my other camera here. Let's see. Right there. And once again, I'm not putting any tension on my fabric as it moves through the machine. That would be if I were using a sewing machine, same concept. I'm using my Bernina L890 serger to make this, which I have it set up for a perfect 1/4 inch seam. Just going to take my time, line up my raw edges. Of course, I have my machine set up so the needle stops in the down position. It's one of my favorite features on this machine. And there we go. And let me swing back over to this other camera now. And there we go. So 12 total strips. So that will lay nice and flat. And then all I have to do is cut it into 3.5-inch strips this way, and I will then have strips of squares already sewn together for our next step. So this, I'm going to leave this one here for right now. And what I'm going to do between now and the next episode, I'm going to do this to all the other units that I've got pieced. There's 5 total. And then I'm going to cut them apart, except for one. I'll do one on camera. I'll get the others pre-done. And then we'll start sewing them together on the next episode. So, all that being said, okay, there you are. Woo-wee. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. That's all I have for you this evening. And there'll be another episode either tomorrow or Sunday. I'm going to see how I feel when I get up in the morning. But we are going to get this quilt top completely finished over the next few days. So, I will see you all later. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love each and every one of you. So happy to hook back up with all my friends here on YouTube. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see you all later. Bye now.